Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. Last month, I challenged my Tech Know Quilter Masters members to create their own signature blocks and quilt. And that inspired me to create my own quilt in Electric Quilt that I'm going to share with you today. I've set up a project for my album quilt, and I'm going to design a block from scratch. So I'll do a new block piece, easy draw. I did save an image of my actual physical album block, and so I'm going to view the project sketchbook. In my photos tab, we can see the cropped photo of the image, and I'm going to go ahead and edit that to the block work table. Now, anytime you are looking at a real quilt, the block may not be perfectly pieced and the image may not be perfectly cropped or rotated, but it does give you enough information to figure out the structure for redrafting the block. If you look at the edge of the quilt, you can see that we have 3 large triangles and 2 small triangles. The large triangles appear to be about the same size as 2 of the small triangles. Since the large triangles are twice as big as the small ones, I'm going to give them a point value of 2 and give the small triangles a point value of 1. All I need to do is add up the point values for one edge and note that we have 8. That tells me that the snapping options would be best at 8 by 8. So I'm going to go to Drawing Tools and change the block width and height to 8. Now I'm going to actually piece this at 6, but it's easier to draft at 8, and that's why I chose to do that. I'm also going to set my snaps at 8 by 8, and then I want to make sure Snap to Grid is turned on. Select the line tool and trace the diagonal lines, noting that we will always start and stop at a snap point, even if it doesn't exactly match the tracing image. Note that we have diagonal lines at 1, 3, 5, 7, and then on the other edge at 1, 3, 5, 7 as well. We can trace the diagonal lines going the other direction using the image as a guide and remembering that we're always connecting up to existing snap points. Select Color tab and color the block, and then add to Project Sketchbook. Now to add the signature, I can't do that on the block work table. I need to do that on the quilt work table. So I'm going to go to the quilt work table and do a new quilt, select the style horizontal, select the layout tab and change the number of blocks to 1 by 1 with the size of 6 inches, and that is the size that I will be piecing my album blocks at. Select the border tab and delete the border. Select the design tab and under block tools, set block, locate the block that was just drafted and click on the quilt space in the quilt. To prep the signature, I'm going to go to a website called remove.bg. I've shared this particular program a number of times in my private Tech Know Quilters group. It is a great way to use images within EQ. Select Upload Image and navigate to the location of your signature image on your computer. I'm going to navigate to an image that I saved where I wrote my name on a sheet of paper and took a picture and uploaded it to my computer. In the preview, you can see the white background. I'm going to select Open, and now that background is gone, which you can see with that checkerboard background. Select Download and save on your computer. In Electric Quilt, select Photo Tools and select Open Library. Select Import from Image Files. Locate the file you just saved on your computer. Select the file and select Open. Select Add to Sketchbook and close. Select Layer 2 and under the Photo Tools, scroll to locate the photo that was just saved and drag it on the quilt. Select it with the Adjust tool, turn on Preserve Aspect Ratio, and drag a corner to resize. With the controller command key on your keyboard, click on the center of the signature and drag a corner to rotate. To move out of rotation mode, you can click away and then click the image and drag a corner for the resize. Select Hide Show Quilt Patch Lines and add to Project Sketchbook. Let me take you through the layout for my final quilt. So on the quilt work table, I'm going to do a new quilt horizontal. On the Layout tab, change the number of blocks to 1 by 1. Set the size at 13 by 13. On the Borders tab, the first border is going to be a 1-inch long horizontal. Select Add and select the style Blocks. Change the size to 3 inches. Scroll down and change the blocks in border to 5 by 5. Select Add, change the size to 1.5 inches, and this can be a long horizontal. Select Add, change the style to Blocks, change the size to 6 inches, and change the blocks in border to 4 horizontal and 4 vertical. Select Add, change the style to mitered, and change the size to 2 inches. Select Add and change the style to mitered and change the size to 5.5 inches. Select Add, select mitered, and change the size to 1/2 inch. Notice that the finished size is now 52 by 52. Select the Design tab, and I already have created all of my blocks, so I'm going to just quickly populate them. I'm going to put the applique block in the center. I'm going to do the square in a square block. For border number 2, place the album quilt in the blocks in border number 4. And the rest of the borders are going to be colored with fabrics. I did end up using directional fabric in the borders, so I will use rotate fabric to adjust the orientation for the left and right edges of each of the borders. For the wide border, I did use fussy cut. Just as I did on my quilt, I wanted to align all 4 of the edges so the miters come together. And it looks like I have actually put multiple borders rather than just one for that 5.5 inch border. I'm going to view my project sketchbook and select the quilt that I did earlier so you can see the final quilt with all of the blocks that have been colored. Let me quickly zoom in so you can see the signatures that I put on layer 2 for each of the album blocks. So I hope you have some ideas how you could create a signature quilt of your own. Thanks so much for watching. If you are not on my blog post, make sure to click on the post to see an amazing group of signature blocks and quilts created by Tech Know Quilter Masters members. And if you are just starting to explore electric quilt, check out my intro class, Shoot for the Stars with EQ8. Or if you're ready for a deeper dive, check out the Tech Know Quilter membership.